A girl named Lauren Agee goes camping. She ends up dead floating in the river.
I know she didn't drown. People that drown sink.
The friends don't know what happened.
And these 3 kids are covering it up. And I'll believe that till I go to my grave.
Apparently it's accidental, maybe.
It's supposed to be a fun camping trip, but sadly, Lauren Agee would never make it out alive.
You can even hear audio from what was recorded that night on somebody recording from their phone.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy. We're going into a death trap.
Going door to door to door to find any evidence, any clues. This is the story of Lauren Agee. When you go camping with some friends and you want to have fun, maybe be careful who you go with because you never know. Snacks! Look, shout out to y'all for having y'all snacks. I'm gonna make it short and simple today because I'm ready to talk about this story. Shout out Corey X Kitchen. Y'all already know what I'm about to say. GGYS. Go get your snacks.
I just started off in your world.
In the beginning of this video, I said that they was going to a camping trip. They was actually going to a festival. She even tweeted out, I can't wait to go to WakeFest this weekend. She was very excited.
WakeFest, a wet and wild 3-day party on Center Hill Lake. Hundreds of fans cheer on pro wakeboarders during the day and party all night.
Pack her clothes, and her friend Hannah goes to WakeFest. They're having fun. You can even see footage in the car. Then Hannah meets her boyfriend named Aaron, and then Aaron's friend meeting this guy named Press. They don't know Press. The only person who knows Press is Hannah's boyfriend. Now, Press wanted to get to know Lauren because he liked Lauren. Thinks she's beautiful, she's attractive, but there's a problem. Lauren has a boyfriend. She's not about to cheat. We love a non-cheater. I'm talking to you. I know you cheated before. I know you did. Disgusting. Here's where things is about to get a little bit interesting. So first, later on during that day after WakeFest, after they had fun at this festival, they decided to go to a bar. You can see it on footage here. They record a lot. There's a lot of recording on this video you're about to see. And as you can tell, they're having fun, having a good time. Everything is going perfectly fine. Now it's time to decide where we're going to sleep. The cabin or one of these boat rooms. So y'all book a trip and don't know where to sleep? But later on during that night, they end up being on a canoe.
We're in a canoe. It's a cliff on both sides. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. We're going into a death trap.
You heard it? We're going into a death trap. I am going into this case blind with y'all, by the way. I'm doing my research right here, looking into it and talking into the camera. I cut that part out, obviously. What does that mean? I wonder what she meant by the death trap part. Okay, so here's where I think it all gets strange. So they find this cliff. This cliff is next to this water. This could be the part where she said this could be a death trap because we're sleeping on this cliff. They sleep here at the top.
And the most terrifying part, where you sleep once you're up there, in a hammock called an emu.
So at this camping spot, you have Hannah, you have Aaron, you have the guy named Press, you have a Lauren, and then there is some other 4th guy. Where did he come from? We don't know who that is. Is that Aaron friend? Is that Press friend? Who is he? Because that's not Lauren's boyfriend, by the way, if you're thinking. See, this is what I mean. When I hang out with friends, do not bring friends that I don't know to places where I'm going to lay my head at night. I'm sorry, it's not a you thing, it's me. Can you go home? We don't do strangers over here. To give you a better example of this cliff, on one side it's 90-foot drop, on the other side it's a 50-foot drop. Very scary. To make it even much more scary, what do you call those things that you hang on a tree? What's the name of it? A hammock, something like that. Well, this was built for Hannah and Chris. Whoa, not Hannah and Press, Lauren and Press. So you can see them in the photo here. They sleep on that together. Hannah and her boyfriend, Aaron, they're sleeping in a tent, a full-blown tent. Mind you, it should have been Hannah and Lauren. Gotta make sacrifices for the girls. How do Lauren get the most dangerous part? They on a tall cliff, come on. And I didn't say this, but Lauren was very upset and kind of uncomfortable with this, even though she didn't look like it in the photo. But it was told that she was upset about this because she has a boyfriend. She don't want to be sleeping next to this guy who obviously want her. So then that was another problem. The next following day, they decided to go cliff jumping. They had fun. They was enjoying their time. It's hot, it's sunny. They're looking at people going surfing. They're looking at all of the boats. Everything was really fun. It's just that Lauren did not like sleeping next to Press and sleeping on that tall cliff. This was ruining her little vacation time. She ran across this girl named Cassie. Cassie just ended up bumping into Lauren's group that was at a bar. Lauren and Cassie, they're best friends. They're not best friends, but they're friends. They know each other, so So when they seen each other, they're like, oh, hey, guy. You know how girls be. And they just started talking. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie. Wake Fest look fun. How come I've never been to something like this? You know what? Y'all want to make our own Wake Fest? You down? I'm down. Cassie seen that Lauren was so worried about sleeping back on that cliff that Lauren asked Cassie, can I sleep with you guys tonight? I don't want to go back up there. Cassie had to sadly decline because there was no other space for her to sleep. Also, get around this time, even though I said they had fun jumping off cliffs and everything like that, deep down, Lauren wasn't having fun at all. She even sent a text to one of her friends saying she want to go home, she's not enjoying her day that much, and her friends was being very mean to her. The next morning, Lauren gone.
Here's the baffling thing. There are only 2 ways to get down the cliffside camp. The first option is by rope, down a treacherous drop through a maze of trees, bushes, and, oh yeah, snakes. The second way down, even more dangerous, hurling yourself off the other side of the cliff, hoping to hit the water 45 feet below while missing the jagged rocks buried beneath the surface.
But all of her belongings is where she was sleeping at. It was said that she headed off down the cliff to start enjoying her day without the group, just her. She had a time period where she done that, and apparently when she done that, she was never seen again. When the family heard this, it was odd. It didn't make sense to them. When the investigators heard this, it was odd. It didn't make sense to them. This is a warning that these friends is gonna make you mad from this point forward. They're gonna piss you off. Just listen to their stories, listen to their behavior, listen to their actions, watch what they do. It's almost like they didn't even love her. I don't know, just...
Now, a 21-year-old Hendersonville woman died in Center Hill Lake.
She camped this weekend on the edge of a cliff. Her body found Sunday in the water below.
She drowned. How do you think she died?
I know she didn't drown. People that drown sink.
And the autopsy shows there was no water in Lauren's lungs.
One of the officers, side note, said, it looked like Erin was the one that staged this and made it seem like it was an accidental death. One of the officers said that. And then also get this, the demeanors, the vibe, and how Erin and Press look towards police talking to them was very nerve-wracking. They were so nervous.
Extremely nervous. Their body language and demeanor toward the incident told me that there was something wrong with the picture. People don't act like that unless they know something or they have something to hide.
When someone overheard, Erin said, do not talk. Let me talk and let me say everything. I got this. I'll handle this. But what about that random guy that I told y'all about earlier? None of the 3 friends mentioned him. Hannah, Erin, Press, they never mentioned him. All of their stories... all of their stories was different. First, Erin said, well, I stayed at a bar and let them go back to the cliff. One of the officers, well, security, who was actually at the Wake Fest, security and surveillance in the area, said no. All 4 of them were actually in a canoe heading back up to the cliff that night. I seen all 4 of them.
We were like, well, maybe somebody came and got her. And then we went down to the boat dock and we waited and waited and waited, and almost seems like I'm a suspect right now, you know, but I know you guys are just doing your job.
Then there's Hannah's side of the story. She says Lauren left that morning and went to get on a boat with some more people. She assumed that she slept with them, which if she was to sleep with them, it don't make sense on how the security that night seen all 4 of y'all in the boat.
I woke up and I woke him up and I said, where's Lauren? And he said, she got up a while ago. He was like, but I didn't feel her or anything. And I said, okay, have you seen her since? And he said no. And I asked how long. He said he wasn't sure. I know she probably went to pee, but she didn't have her shoes. She didn't have her keys, wallet, phone. And she would not leave without that stuff.
But then she get on Skype and her story changes again.
From the time I went to sleep to the time I went awake, there's nothing. It's just a void of what was she doing? What was she thinking? Was she peeing? Was she with somebody else? I don't know.
As for Chris, who Hannah and Lauren met that weekend,
he was asleep. I didn't know him well, but people ask me, do you think he could have done it? No. I don't think he would have been physically capable without me hearing.
Hannah explains why she didn't call Lauren's parents and authorities that morning when Lauren was gone.
Everybody's like, don't worry, Lauren's the kind that can make friends with anyone. And, right. Okay, I try to keep calm. I searched as much as I could without having to go to every single boat. I figured she would find us.
See how the story changed? But you said you seen her leave to her other friends, and you said she slapped by her other friends. And now you saying, you know, she's a friendly girl, maybe she went to go meet some new people that she met.
Everybody's like, you know, don't worry, you know, Lauren's the kind that can make friends with anyone.
And she's out doing whatever it is, meaning she didn't even see her. She's assuming that she's out with some friends and maybe met some new friends. And in that interview, she goes through so many different emotions. And why are you being so defensive of your friend? The reason why I say this is because she said herself, I barely know him.
He was asleep. I didn't know him well, but
if you barely know the dude, you defending him like y'all probably set it up. Allegedly. Am I bad for kept calling that guy Press? His name is Chris. I don't know where I get pressed from. But Hannah, you literally just met him that weekend. You shouldn't be defending him like that.
Chris, who Hannah and Lauren met that weekend.
What about the guy Press? What did he say? He said that night she was gonna meet her ex-boyfriend. They was talking when they was in the hammock. But he ended up falling asleep. He said he didn't feel her get out and he didn't see her leave.
You know, we all drank, had a good old time. Eventually we ended up making our way out back to the campsite. I honestly wasn't really worried about it because I didn't think anything had happened. I didn't think anything would happen.
Also get that when Hannah was on Skype, Aaron ended up calling Hannah and telling her to stay to the script, like stick to the script. Then we got that fourth guy named Chris. He posted on his Instagram and he said, WakeFest 2015 went pretty good this year. Met some new friends that made it awesome. Hashtag WakeFest. Hashtag WakeFest 2015. Let's go to the autopsy. At this point, it seemed like the friends is covering something up, but at the same time, if we sparing them, could be an accident. She could have fell. The autopsy says she barely had any water in her lung. She was hit in the head really hard, broken fingers, a lot of bruises, and she had a bite mark on her chest. She got bit by a human before she died? What happened? Literally, look at me. The only thing that I can possibly think of, yes, let me rub your face while I say this. The only thing that I can possibly think of is that she probably could have got jumped.
And there is no way her injuries added up to what's on her body. She was without her shoes. The bottom of her feet would be torn up like meat. It's not. There's just one little injury on there.
Her alcohol levels was twice over the limit, and it was said she could have possibly been R-worded. But it came to a close and it said, Lauren Agee death, the cause, accidental, no foul play was involved. Dismiss. Alright y'all, thank y'all for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Alright, I'm just playing. That is not the end of this video. It is more to this story. We gotta get into it. The police never even considered the friends to be suspects. I want y'all to understand this.
What do you believe is the most suspicious thing about where Lauren's body was found?
How it got there.
What ended up happening, Hannah and Aaron, they got a love story going on. They ended up getting married and they moved to Florida. Press, that guy was in and out of jail. He was just tripping. Then that other guy, the one who we barely even know about, he moved out of state and he got a lawyer and he just worked and went on about his life. None of them went to the funeral, by the way. That right there was kind of strange to me because that seemed like guilt. The reason why it does is because y'all have to know something we don't. Y'all was the last people with this girl. Her last memories was with y'all. And if y'all care about her and y'all wanted the best for her so much, at least if this was y'all true friend, you would go to her funeral. But it's almost like they didn't even want to show their face. They was too embarrassed to. Oh, but remember, Aaron was talking about stick to the script. So maybe this is part of the script. Who knows?
So what can you tell me about what happened? Aaron, Hannah, is there anything that you want to say to Lauren's mom? Can you tell us anything? You were the last people to see Lauren alive.
Let's take it back. Y'all remember that girl named Cassie? Well, that's Aaron's ex. Oh, and she said some interesting things about this guy named Aaron. First of all, she said this guy was very abusive. He bitten and beaten me, and I even have the evidence to back it up. And she sent it to the investigators. But they declined. They said this case is closed. We don't care. Shut the door right in her face. Are you serious?
I found the pictures from when he hit me, but I still don't think she fell off the cliff.
I feel like that bite part is very, very detailed too, because remember I said earlier that Lauren was bit. Maybe this guy got a biting problem. If it was him, if it is him, we're gonna see as we go further down the line. That was strange. Now, one of the police officers also came out on an interview. It was like this documentary about this girl case because it went cold. They're trying to bring it up to light because we really truly don't know what happened. Doing this documentary, he said,
all I know is that, you know, when they released the boys, they went back over to retrieve their stuff, and then that's when they spotted the fire.
So if you put two and two together, is it possible that maybe somebody was burning
Something they didn't want someone to find?
But remember, they were camping out. It could have been a campfire.
Even though there's no hardcore evidence that the friends did anything, this is why people with no friends, or that's either a homebody, live longer. Because they don't go through stuff like this. I don't know if y'all know, but friends murder friends all the time. Sometimes the big reason for that is jealousy. And the video is gonna get a little blurry, but it's not gonna be too bad. It's gonna come back to normal shortly. Just bear with it for some time. What the mother decided to do was hire a private investigator. The investigator wanted to re-examine the body. They did another autopsy on it, and what they discovered was that she was held down. And it was like, at first, there's no way that she could have been R-worded. There was a tampon inside of her. So the investigator contacted Lauren's GYN practitioner, and they discovered that around this time when she was murdered, the lining of her uterus confirmed that she was not on her cycle. But there was a problem, I guess, because since time went by and this case went cold, they couldn't tell if she was R-worded or if she was assaulted at all. Because the time when her murder was fresh, they didn't check and run tests to see if she was R-worded. It was like, dismiss, it's an accident. But something that you need to realize is that there are so many cases, and I'm not making this up, girls that got R-worded with tampons in. People don't care. Even though she wasn't on her cycle, I guess she felt her cycle coming. We don't know why the tampon was there, but it was there. Also, in the beginning of this video, if you remember, I said there's a 90-foot drop and a 50-foot drop on this cliff. They decided to get a dummy, a test dummy to throw off. When they throw it off the 90-foot side, they discovered that this dummy, even with the current, it's no possible way for the dummy to get to where Lauren's body was in the river, where you see with the arrow pointing at.
Carl Lewis couldn't get to the water. The best long jumper in the world could not make it to the water. You would be tied up in trees and rock.
They tried the dummy test close to 50 times with the same results.
Multiple attempts would never get to that direction where her body was. So if she was to fall on the 90-foot side, her body was gonna be in another direction. Okay, now that we have that in our head, okay, so she didn't fall this way. Let's test the other side.
We dropped it and we took it to different areas to see if it could hit the bottom of the cliff.
And what did you find out?
It couldn't, it didn't, it never did. When you fall, you have arms and legs. You don't roll like a ball. So there are arms flailing, legs flailing. There's no way she would have hit the water. There's no way she did hit the water.
The 50-foot drop was filled with so much trees and rocks, it was almost impossible for it to fall and roll into the water. The furthest that the dummy would go is about halfway down, and they tried multiple times, over 40 times.
It was caught in the branches, didn't even make it down to the bottom.
Correct, it's not even halfway down. There's no way. I mean, you could maybe make it to halfway down where it flattens out.
There's too much trees and rocks in the way.
What we know from witnesses and science, that the currents were going the opposite direction that day. So she wouldn't have ended up in that cove. The currents were going the wrong way, the opposite way.
If they were going the opposite way, then would she have ended up somewhere else then?
She would have ended up by the marina.
Also, get around the time of Lauren's death, when people would make comments and posts about Lauren on social media, there would be some mean comments. And the IP address said that this came from Florida, on the same street that Hannah and Aaron lives on. Remember, they moved to Florida a month after she died.
Coming from an IP address in Florida on the same street as Hannah and Aaron.
Coincidence?
I don't think so.
Do y'all think that was them commenting? No one knows what truly and what really happened that night. As of now, it's accidental. I know that you probably want to blame the people who last seen her that night, but you can't, because there's no guaranteed proof that they did anything, at least for now. Everything is cold, everything is set as accidental, and we have to keep it at that unless they reopen it or they get a clue on accident. Who knows? With that being said, I love y'all. Take care. Goodbye. Stay safe. And if y'all not really close, like if you not really close with your friends, don't be doing no dumb road trips and no festivals, and don't do no sleepovers with friends that you really not close with like that, because you never know what you might get yourself into.